Hello everyone, I would like to welcome you here at the Innonic Academy. This is my very first English presentation, so there will be a couple of mistakes, but I'm trying to reach my best. Is your very first Innonic presentation here? Ah, great. For you and for our dear YouTube visitors, I would like to introduce myself and the product and the company. Well, I'm the head of marketing here at one of our startups named Kovács. We are building up an e-commerce analytics tool for Shopify stores. Basically, we are trying to to understand them, the analytics mainstreamly, to understand how they can make more money based on their data. With the team, we are working mainly 2 years in this product, and I have joined 1 year ago and have to examine how hard it is to build up a successful product. We worked a lot, we spent a lot of money on advertisements, and the results are sometimes cumulates to zero. What would you think? What are the main reasons? Why should we fail? Any guess? What could be the reason from a startup to fail?
Not finding the right market.
Possibly. Any other guess?
Building a bad product.
Could be, yes. I have written these two main reasons too, because yes, it could be that we are not as good marketers as we think, and it could be that the product are not the best for the market we are trying to sell it. There are several reasons behind the successful product, and I will bring you today a couple of good advices how you could build up a great product from a great founder and the entrepreneur named Lerner. He built up a successful dating app in the United States, which got more than 60 million users. Well, check today's agenda. I talk a couple of words about the author, the 3 questions every CEO needs to ask from himself to reach more than 1 million users, how A/B testing can get more than 1,000 users in just 1 day, the only 3 metrics that matter for startups, and how to get more than $100,000 in free press for your business for just a couple of weeks. If you check Lerner's LinkedIn bio, you will see this description. He grew up in Long Island, he lives in Manhattan, enjoys good steak, karaoke, traveling, basketball, cryptocurrency. In the book, he tells some interesting stories about his life. He worked, after he finished the university at the Cornell, he started to work at Lehman Brothers. Lehman Brothers was one of the biggest financial companies at the Wall Street at that days, and that was in 2005. And for him, it was a very painful start because he was just finished the school and already have booked the flight to Europe, to Paris, to Rome, and with his friends, and have some great time. But he had a great opportunity to start a job at Lehman Brothers. So he tried to talk with their future bosses that he really wants the job, but he couldn't start today because he go to Europe for a Europe trip with his friends for 2 weeks. At Lehman Brothers, unfortunately, they didn't really like the idea that he was keep 2 weeks from the beginning. They said that if he didn't choose the job, they will give it to someone else. So he had to choose to stay at New York and go to work at Lehman Brothers and skip the European tour. What will he get in return? Instead of a great European tour, at his very first day, they give him an Excel book with more than 800 pages. So he have to learn it and to start to build up his financial career. He really hated because he was always thinking that his friends having a great time in Europe and he have to learning now how to using Excel. But in the future, it was a great investment for him because he became, as he said, a wizard of Excel at the company. He really liked using this new knowledge that he has get, and all colleagues go to him, as I go to Anna every time because she is our Excel wizard at Kovács. It was a very good investment for him to not choose go to Europe, and because he worked really well. In 2005 he got the promotion and started to work with clients exactly. So he had a lot of research calls really in the morning and late afternoon. So he basically worked 20-13 hours a day, and this wasn't the life that he had dreamed for himself. So an interesting story. How did he go to started to founding a dating app? He worked with two really pretty ladies after he got promoted, and they used a dating site named Match.com. Match.com was the greatest dating app in that time, and he saw that his colleagues hang a lot of time at Match.com. So he think about that, well, that's a great opportunity. They spend their time in finding some dates, but why he has started to build up this his own products was a bit different. That was a special night when his colleagues, these two ladies, will have a presentation with a client, but the client couldn't reach out, so they tried to find a date for that night because they was really pretty, was in their pretty dress, and they was ready to find some single guy. But with Match.com they couldn't afford it. The app wasn't ready for this because it wasn't the best solution in that days, because it was sometimes weeks when they could find someone, and that was the idea behind the whole development. That why not start a new product, a new dating site where you can, when business professionals who work a lot could find someone very quickly and build up a database with a lot of people, which will solve this problem at least 10 times better. So that was the idea, why to start a great and better app which will solve this gap what business professional couldn't afford, because they don't have weeks or days to spend in an app. They want results because they don't have time for this. So there will be a lot of growth tips that I bring you today. This is exactly from Cliff. I will sometimes let you a couple of seconds to check it. The first is find something that people are doing inefficiently and create a solution that makes it substantially easier, 10 times easier, to achieve the same result. And you can for now reconsider, is your product that you're currently working or trying to build up will be 10 times better than the current solutions? At you guys, I heard that there will be a 10 times quicker solution that we are starting to build up for now, and that's a great opportunity. The 3 questions every CEO need to ask to reach 1 million users. Let's see. Number 1, we talked about this previously. Is there one thing your product does 10 times better than anyone else? There are a lot of products in the market. What do you think? Why should any customer or user start using your solution instead of the current ones? What is your core value? What is that one-liner sentence that you can choose to why I will choose your product instead of other ones? There is a lot of researches that has shown to choose a new solution instead of anything that you are currently using. It needs to be at least 10 times better to become a no-brainer. So if it will not at least 10 times better than your current solution, and your current solution could be so much worse in any cases, but if it will not be at least 10 times better, they will not switch, not start using your new solution. What was new? Are you interested? As you see, it's something like Tinder that we will nowadays use, but in 2008 or 10, when the Are You Interested has come in, it was the best solution in the market. Why was that the best solution? First, they started to build up the whole product at the Facebook. The Facebook was started to growing in that days, and they see the opportunity that there are already a profile with people who they already filled down. They know what are you interested. You are filled up your bio. There are a lot of things that you can download from Facebook and already put in the system. So they saw this great opportunity to build up a product which will be connects exactly to your Facebook account, so you could sign up exactly from the Facebook. And there were not other solution in the market at these times, because everyone wanted you to sign up, to fill up your form, to give you everything, your information about you, and that was a lot of time. And that was at least 10 times faster to start with "Are you interested?" because there was already a profile that you have built up in Facebook there, and I just downloaded it. I have searched the internet and tried to fill up any other dating sites that are sometimes was very weird. The gluten-free singles, I don't know who are this kind of gluten-free fan that they need to find a match, her love in gluten-free singles. And I know is it 10 times better, but at least it's a very niche market, so someone could find love here too. It's a horrible picture, but it's the punkmatch.com, another great solution for punks to find love in each other. Who is knowing this solution? This is the punch.hu. Anyone? Mate, what is punch.hu?
Rich people can find hot girls on the website for money.
Exactly. That's a great match to finding when the money finds the girls, and it works vice versa. So guys could find rich women too. So yeah, a bit weird, but there is a niche market for it. So why not? It is a great quote from Gary Vaynerchuk. I really like him. He said, "If you can market your ass off, but if your product sucks, you are dead. You will not have the chance to build up a successful product at any market if it's not good enough and not better than the current solutions." Another growth tip: you should run your 10th experiment. Have you quantified how much better your product's core offering than the competition? Question number 2. Are you actually data-driven, or you are just pretending to be? Well, big data, data-driven marketing, there are so much buzzwords in 2018. Everybody is data-driven and only making decisions based on their data. At least they are saying this. Well, at Snap Interactive, the founders of Are You Interested, they literally measured everything. They run hundreds of thousands of tests weekly at about everything that you just reconsider. They tested the user experience, they tested the interface, everything. There are a lot of value propositions, and that is one of the core values that works really well for them. What to measure? When user behavior correlates more strongly to users leaving your product, what does it mean? You should reach the patterns, what's common in the users who are leaving your product. Why are they leaving? What's common in them? Why are they don't choose your product? Why did they choose something else? You should know it, because you are spending a lot of money to acquire new customers, and if you don't understand why are they leaving, you will following this wrong series. What is the point in the customer journey where customers realize your product's value, become much less likely to leave? This they call the aha moment. What is the aha moment in your product? When they get the point, when they get the whole picture that this is the product, that is why it will good for you, that's how you will become richer, nicer, etc. What is this aha moment in your product? What do all of your best users, your power users, have in common? When you trying to acquire new customers, you, as I said, spend a lot of money. And if you are not targeting real good, and don't know what is common in the power users, because you want a lot of power users, as much power users as possible, because they are spending a lot of money at you, they are telling about your products, how great it is. You want power users. What are common in them? How to acquire them? How to find them? You need to know the answer for these questions. So you are literally run thousands of tests, and after that there will be 3 ways. The number 1 way, you run a test and it's great, it works, so you celebrate. You take it and it will become a feature in your product that everybody loves, and it's a huge win for the company and for the product. What happens in the other way? You tested something, it looks like promising but did not get the results you have wanted. You have the chance to iterate. You have the chance to reconsider how could be this working. How to iterate. I bring you an exact example from the match, from the Are You Interested? What you have to understand in the dating business, users, especially men, are just looking for women. That's not new. And they want as much matches, as much messages as possible from women. From them, as much messages they get, as better, because that's why they have registered. And they try to get the virality from this function. So they wanted to give something to people, for them to share and invite new users to the product. So that's why they offered to users who will invite their friends and share the app, that they will be in more searches, that they will get more visitors and more matches in the future. So they started to iterate the idea. In the first, they just offered invite your friends. That absolutely didn't work. After that, they reconsidered the idea and give a value proposition to it. So invite 5 friends for higher placement in search result. So here's the benefit why it's good for me to invite another friends. I will be in more search results, I will get more messages, get more girls. Win-win. Iteration number 3. They try to scale up from 5 to 20 friends, invite 20 friends for higher placement in search result. This doesn't work really well. So they start another iteration round. Iteration number 4. They change the value proposition. Invite 5 friends for get more matches. So it was a bit more concrete, not just search result, the exact benefit why I have registered for this page. I will get more matches if I invite more friends. Win-win. After that, iteration number 5. Invite 20 friends for more matches. Another great opportunity, but this wasn't the best. They think that ladies and men are working differently. Men want a lot of matches, a lot of girls. Ladies want the quality, not the quantity. And for them, matches are not the best opportunity because they want quality. And for them, will be a bit more interesting, a new feature that they have developed, that if you share the app and invite more users to the app, you will find out what your friends think about you, because there will be that became a new opportunity to like profile pictures, and it wasn't there previously. So they started to share the statistics, what your friends think about you if you share and invite new users. So this was in the last round, in iteration 7. Invite 20 friends to find out which of your friends like you. And this is the round which brings them 100,000 new users just for one day. Just for one day. So it needed 7 rounds of iteration to finally get the best solution. So it was the real celebration here. So they had 7 rounds of iteration, and then after that just became the celebration. And the final part, this will be the most common, when you have to obliterate the idea. You have tried it, but it was failed. But in the startup life, a fail is always a great win, because you have not invested in that feature, you have not developed it for everybody, and it was a quick lose, but you are saved a lot of resources. Great quotes, you have to be right once. There will be a lot of tests always, but if you will be right once, there will be great results. But there are a lot of job behind it. But it will not known if you have not measured it, if you have not an analytical system behind it, and then know if your results was better or not. The next explosive growth tip: if you are not running tests, run. Question number 3. Do you have a vision for your culture? At the startup world, the founders, the CEOs, mostly trying to reach talents. Everybody wants great people in their team, and for them, the quality of the people, their knowledge, is many times a bit more important than if they are fit in the team or not. So it could be that you are a great engineer, but you are absolutely not working well with the other guys in the team, but they will hire you because you are great at your work. And as a result, the culture is created largely without their input, and it's often so much invested money in people who are not fit in the team, and they will be not great workers in the future. How to make a great culture? In the book there was a lot of examples. Some of them will be common for you. The message day, we have our own message day 2 weeks. No, how's it? 2 times per week? No.
2 times per month.
2 times per month. Yeah, thank you. Yes. The company newsletter is something I really like. When they started to grow, there were a lot of new people, and they started sending newsletters every week about what happened in the company, what was the biggest milestones they reached, and trying to connect the original team with the new hires. Birthday donations, something really pretty for me too. You can donate $100 in your birthday for a charity that you have care. So it's a pretty thing, but pretty little thing, but it's so good for the soul. Ping pong. Cliff said that there was a lot of nights when the team started and have a lot of ping pong tournaments, and they really work for them. Warm welcome for new employees. It's a great tip for Erika, who was leaving just now, where you could. The warm welcome was when someone was newly hired, and they bring them a champagne, own-branded champagne with balloons, and the man who bring that balloon was named the Buddy, who is your colleague and who is bringing you for your dinner. So something that is pretty little, but so much for the new hire, because they will already get the culture. How to make great culture the Innonic way? Well, guys, everybody knows that we here have our own culture. We have our own index, what we think, what we want to reach. We want to build up successful companies here and have our own most important values. We trying to improve our customer, sweep floor, owner mentality. That's something that means a lot for us, and this is how to build up a great culture. So I think we are in a great way here in Debrecen, in a little country, not in New York, not in the Silicon Valley, but we are here and we are trying to do our best, and we have the culture for this, and I think we should be proud of it. Another great quote from Tim Ferriss: "You are the average of the 5 people you associate with the most." So do not underestimate the effects of your pessimistic, unambitious, or disorganized friends. If someone isn't making you stronger, they're making you weaker. Tough words, but I think they're really true. I absolutely agree with Tim Ferriss. Something that Cliff Lerner did really wrong, and he talks a lot about this in his book, that there is a common thing in these 3 guys, which I have quoted in the presentation. Gary Vee, Tim Ferriss, Mark Cuban, all 3 of them wanted to join the company. Not as employees, they wanted a share part, and they wanted to be board of the members, but Cliff Lerner didn't agree for that, and he really regretted it, because he would have a chance to work with people like them. They will be the average, the 5 average people who he spends a lot of time, and that will be so in the future of the product, because it will be a lot more bigger company if guys like Gary Vee, Tim Ferriss or Mark Cuban work on building it. Another explosive growth tip: write down the 5 people you spend most time with, or just reconsider. If you could become the average of them, would you be happy with the outcome? If not, it might be time to upgrade your inner circle. Well, the only 3 metrics that matter for startups. Unique selling proposition. We talked about this previously. If we only have 1 sentence to describe our product, what will that be? That's the unique selling proposition. But not that part is important, what we think about our products, what our customer think about our product. How could they describe in 1 sentence what are we giving for them? When the Are You Interested app in the very beginning has several remarkable things. You could sign up with Facebook. This was the very first Facebook sign up app. You could see and download all your Facebook friends and had a lot of information about it. But as the product started to grow, there became more competitors in the product, in the market. So they made a survey to ask their current users what are their unique selling proposition. They ask a couple of questions from the users. As you see, the last one is what we are talking about. What is the 1 sentence that best describes Are You Interested? They needed to know is what are the people thinking about the product. After this unique selling proposition questionnaire, they saw that the product is not as remarkable as it was previously. So they started to building up a new, started to rebranding the current product and build up new features. One of them was Friend of Friends. Previously, every dating app let you just use your friends as a database. After this new feature, it was reliable to use the friend of your friends. Especially for ladies, it was a great feature because for them it was safeable to starting a date with someone who they have at least 1 common interest. So for them it was safer to starting a date with someone who at least 1 person that they know. So this Friend of Friends, they hope that this rebranding will help to start building up a new curve for the product. But unfortunately, they previously had to change the business model. The product previously was free, but they don't get enough money from it, so to become sustainable. So they started to change the business model to a payable subscription. In that time, this was one of the very first subscription models products. So the people who are starting to use Are You Interested are not remembered them as the new Friend of Friends feature, because you cannot change, you don't get a second chance to make first impression. After you had changed the product remarkably and start to get money from using it, everybody will remember your product as the one that we have to pay, because there are a lot of free versions of their app which they can reach free, but for their use they have to pay. So everybody remembers they are interested after that the Facebook app that you have to pay. Have you asked your users to describe your product in 1 sentence? Did at least half of the responses refer to the same concept? Matrix number 2, Net Promoter Scores. Who don't know what is Net Promoter Score? NPS. Customer success team must know what is it. At least every startup of our team using the NPS score. Basically, it's a really easy question what we ask from our customers. We ask how much they likely to recommend our app to their friends or colleagues. It's a 1 to 0, from 10 to 0 scale, and if you choose 9 or 10, you are the promoter of the app because you are really like the product and you are ready to share your thoughts with your friends. If you choose 7 or 8, you are the passive promoter of the product. You are not really impressed, but you don't have problems with this product. If you choose anything that less than 7, you are a detractor. Well, it's a bit harsh, but sometimes people just don't want to hurt us, and they give you a 6, give you a 5, give you a 2, but will not give you 0. And in this startup world, a 0 and the 6 is the same, because they don't love your products. They will choose another one if they have an opportunity. So our goal is to define who are our detractors and define who are our promoters, because we need to know, we need to talk to them why are they our promoters and why they are our detractors. A lot of startups focus on growth, because everybody says you need growth, you need new users. But if you have a lot users but low net promoter score, you are just exactly saying that, hey, my product sucks, you want to buy it. So you will get a lot of users, but that's not the point. You need to get retention. You need users to come back to use your product recently, because if they don't use it, they will not come back, they will not pay you again. It's a one-time show. You can sell everything, but they will not come back, and you will not get the scale and the money that you need for this. Another explosive growth tips. Ask if users have already recommended your product to a friend. So when we do this NPS questionnaire, we just ask them in the app, but we don't call them and don't ask if they're really talked about our products to other people, or they're just saying that they are talked about it. It's really important to know if they are really talked, or it's really a chat theme between their friends or colleagues, that it's a great app, that I love it. Matrix number 3, the last one, retention. As I previously mentioned, retention is one of the North Star metrics as startups. This is the most important number that you need to know. Why? Because if the people that you have acquired spend a lot of money to bring to your product, don't come back, that at least that there are huge problems with the product, because they are not in love with them. You will never go viral. You will never. They will not talk about it and just forget. At the very beginning of Facebook, there was a magical number for retention at them. It was the 7. If in the first 10 days of use, a user have at least 7 friends, they will become a power user. Because if they don't have at least 7 friends, their newsfeed was so poor that there will not enough content for them to engage and to enjoy. So the developers of Facebook worked a lot on that. How could they get as much, at least 7 friends at the very beginning? Because if you will have 7 friends, then you will come back. Are you interested? As you see, this was the growth scale. For the 40 months, they got 60 million users. For them, it was really important to separate the high retention users and the low retention users, because you need to find the patterns and understand what is common in the power users and what is the common in the detractors or the users who are not coming back. Growth without retention is worthless. Do you know what your 1-day or 30-day retention? If no, let's figure it out. And the last part, the PR action that you can are you interested used to scale up their product. At the very beginning, they had a lot of actions, tried to build up with different growth hacks. They spent a lot of money, $15,000 in one spring break promotion. There was helicopters, skywriters, girls in bikinis try to promote the Are You Interested app, but in the end it was with zero results. Absolutely spent $15,000 for nothing. And they really needed users, and quickly, because in a dating app will not work without the database. If you are a user who are signed up in Albuquerque or in Polgár and don't find 10 or 20 or 50 girls to reach out and to write, you will not use that dating app because it don't have the opportunity. So for them, scaling up the product was the key, to get as much users as possible. So they found out this news-jacking named PR growth hack. What was behind this? The recipe was really easy. You find a popular event that is really current for now. It could possibly be the Katrina hurricane or anything that is for now in the news and everybody's talking about it. After you get the event about you will talk, you need to connect this event with your industry or with your app. After that, you need to build up a hypothesis that may or not be crazy. And after that, you will get massive publicity. Some examples. As we saw it previously, how college basketball saved my company. What they use. There is a Duke university named University, which have a basketball team. It has a great history and they always win the tournaments. But in 2007, they lost in the opening round, and it was a huge publicity because everybody was shocked how they can lose in the very first round. Everybody was shocked absolutely. And the guys at the Are You Interested team used this news and connected it with their industry. So they started to generate fake news that the people at the Duke University are so depressed that they started to use their dating app to find love and find happiness. And this story gets viral because it was funny. The people loved it, that a huge loss in a basketball but a huge win in love. So it got in the every press what was possible, and everybody talked about it. This was just one example that they made this a lot of times. They started to analyzing their database, what they know about their users. They started to analyze what are the winning pictures, what are you need to do to win at love. So they separated the man and woman analyzing and find out that women's which had in their profile picture instruments or they're singing, who are doing sports or wearing a bikini, had 29, 20, 21 or 8% more matches or more likes. So you need to be a girl in a bikini playing football with a flute. So that's the winning recipe. At the man, it was professional headshot, facial hair and dog at the picture, and that helps them a lot to become successful in love and get more likes. Another one interesting, the most attention online, the name of the article was "Do Blondes Really Have More Fun Online?" And they found out is there a correlation between the color of your hair and how many likes and connections do you get. And they do this that blondes get 80% more matches, and the silver guys and the gray guys get 29, 27, and the bald 5% more matches. So as I see, the old men get more, gets win the show. The Punch.hu works in the US too. Third one, how hot is your name? A really easy correlation finding. The girl's name Brianna was swiped right in the 70% of the cases. The same is shown at the guys. Size matters in online dating. So size, it means just only the height of a guy. They figured out that 6.2 inches, which is 187 centimeters, are the perfect height for a guy. I'm 1,899, so I'm good too. And the 6.9, which is the 6.8 was 203, that's more than 2 meters. So this became creepy. So that's not a great toll. What you should reconsider from this newsjacking? It's a bit controversial, and not every industry, not every product can do this. In our case, in Kovács, we have a lot of data about e-commerce stores. We should use this information to giving standards, benchmarks about users, and find out interesting correlation. How could a successful e-commerce store stay successful? To see what are the best e-commerce stores doing, and to make benchmarks from it and tell to everybody else how they can win too. Explosive growth tip. Anticipate newsjacking opportunities by identifying concerts, festivals, sporting events, conferences, elections, trade shows, anything that are in the news, and connecting to your industry could help you to newsjack this opportunity. So try to build up a list from opportunities. And what we have learned today, just the finest, and I don't have water. There were 3 questions every CEO needs to reconsider before trying to reach millions of users. This was, what is the one thing in your product that works 10 times better than any other app? Are you actually data-driven, or just trying to pretend? Or do you have a vision for your culture? How A/B testing get more than 100,000 users in one day? We talked about it, the 8 iteration rounds when finally they get 100,000 users in one day. The only 3 metrics that matter for startups, they are unique selling propositions, NPS, and retention, and how to get $100,000 in free press for a business. The answer is newsjacking. So that was my presentation, and I'm really happy to answer the questions if you have ones.